I work in a small office space. It is tight in here. There's a lot of equipment that I've either purchased or companies have sent me to check out and review. I'm going to bring you behind the scenes of my office setup and show you the lighting setup that I use for this small space. Lighting is an essential part of video, and if you're in a small home studio space or a small home office, trying to find the right lights that actually fit into your space can be a challenge. The main thing is positioning and making sure that you're not turning the lights on too bright or not bright enough, along with some techniques like bouncing light off of walls like I do here in my space. I have light walls that I actually can bounce light off. It allows me to use the light better without having to feel the need to buy a super big softbox. Now, don't get me wrong, I do actually have one of those big softbox lights, and we'll talk about it towards the end of this video. For this current configuration, I'm actually only using two lights. One is a circular panel light, and the other is a rectangular light. Just off 45 degrees, I have my newer panel light, and it's actually at 1%, literally 1% of brightness, because it is a super bright light. Now this light is actually mounted on a tripod, and I do that so I can move this light around the room as I need to for product videos or if I'm standing at my larger standing desk. Now there are other ways to eliminate the floor space issue, because if you're operating in a small office space, every inch is essential. One of the other types of mounting systems that I use for my light is a large friction pole, which is actually mounted directly over my head right now, and it holds up my large softbox setup. Now about 45 degrees off in the other side of this camera is my rectangular panel light. That light actually serves two purposes. One, it's my travel light. It actually will mount on the camera that I'm recording this video on so that I have a light source wherever I go. And the second reason is to fill in some of the darkness that this light can't cover because it's on the opposite side of the camera. That light is actually turned all the way up to 90% because it's sitting a little further back in this room because I have it mounted on my desk. Now that panel light is amazing because not only can I mount it on this camera using external batteries, but I can also plug it directly into the wall and have continuous power. Now without having any other lights turned on in this space, outside some of the reflections from my monitors that are sitting on the desk over there and a little bit of light that's coming in through the back window, but I do think we can take it up another level by adding in a little color because the background is a little plain. There's a couple things going on here with my monitor in the background and with some accessories off to the other side, but adding a little color definitely will make you stand out. And I've got two options for you as well. Now, because we're operating in a small studio space, we need small light sources to really make this stand out a little bit more. One accessory that I use is a light tube that was sent over from YC Onion, and it's an RGB light tube. Now, this is pretty cool because it's very simple to use and allows you to kind of match your brand, if you will, on video. So if you have different color spectrums you want to go across, such as blue, red, green, yellow, purple, you can pick a color and add it to your background. So I'm just going to turn on our light source, and right now we have it as blue, and I have it about 70% right now. Because that light tube is so small, I could position it in a multitude of different ways. I could stand it up, I could lay it down, I could set it on the floor, maybe even hang it from the ceiling to cast a little bit of extra light and to bring some dynamics to this video. But I do have another light that I recently purchased, which is this panel light here. It's actually very similar to the panel light that is my all white light that's bringing in some light off this 45 degree angle here. But this is another RGB light, and I want to use this for when I'm going out into the field to bring a little light. Maybe if I'm recording a video from a different hotel and there's no real light that I can use, at least I can have my own light source in an easy to travel bag. And you can easily charge this by USB-C. Allows us to change the different color spectrums, so we can dial in the brightness, and we can actually dial in the temperature with the knob on the bottom and reposition it there. So now we've introduced two RGB lights behind me, along with our two panel lights that are in front of me to create a more dynamic live stream and video setup in a small studio space. But I did mention that I had a big softbox light, so let's go to the other desk setup and let me show you what that looks like. Now I'm standing at my primary workstation. This is the one that has all the cool and fancy equipment. The A10 Mini Extreme ISO, the Elgato Stream Deck XL, the Rodecaster Pro, and of course that big old 49-inch monitor. That small rectangular light that I mentioned earlier is just off over here. And right behind me is that circle panel light that is shining on the desk. Now I have my remote for my large aperture light that is right here. Now this light is amazing, softbox light. Now it's oversized for this room. I bought it before I moved into this space, but I do want to show you what that looks like in 3, 2, 1. A transformation by using good lighting. So no matter where I am in this small studio setup, I do have really good light. Using the large softbox here at my main workstation and then using my panel lights at the small workstation. Now I can even bring in some color in this setup using this remote and the RGB light strip that's wrapped around the shelf behind me. So we'll make sure we got it turned on. We'll turn this over to blue and we'll intensify the color to make it a little bit brighter. So you can definitely make it work in a small studio space. Now, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, make sure you do by hitting that red subscribe button and check out this video where I talk more in depth about the newer panel light and why I think it's a good fit for your small office.